Hello, I'm Karen, and in today's video, as you can see from the title, I'm going to be sharing with you how to crochet a bag, which is from the Voynich manuscript, and the video is going to be in two parts. And so if you don't want to know about the background history stuff that I need to just make sure I'm sharing so that it's clear for those people that are trying to actually work out what does the manuscript say, then the actual pattern is going to start maybe about 10 minutes in, a bit before if we're lucky. Okay, so what I did is in February this year, what I did is I made 12 videos. I published them for about 48 hours, and this was one of them. This is where I made the granny triangle, and I asked Lisa Fagin Davis, who is a paleographer. She's done some research on the book, and she says that there's 5 different scribes that wrote the book, and I wanted to know out of the ones that had actually did my interpretations, as she put it, what the who did what, basically. She was really kind to me. She sent me back a PDF file with a list of everything so that I can actually use that, which is absolutely amazing. So thank you for that, Lisa. I really appreciate that. It's been an absolute great help. And but she also pointed out some other little bits. So one of them was that in my methods that I was showing, that I'd used some instructions from one page and onto the other, and she said that realistically the book isn't bound exactly the same way that it was when it was actually made. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take that on board, and so I've obviously not using that one today. And she also said historically crochet is actually from the 1800s, and I was like, okay, so let's just get this clear on the history of crochet. So yes, the oldest known crochet book that we know of is in the 1820s, which is the Penelope book, which was, say, published in Dutch, and I did the translations on that to say yes, it is definitely crochet in there. But the books, the most of the books was coming out like in the 1840s, and so they put crochet into that little bracket. But when those patterns actually was published, they was written for people that knew how to crochet, because there wasn't very many instructions in them, because they didn't tell you whether you needed, how you needed to join the rounds. They didn't tell you if you needed to do a chain in the next round or anything like that. It was very simplistic instructions. And the reason why that the crochet books was launched in the 1840s, sorry, is all because of the hook. Because before then, before the Industrial Revolution, the hooks was made by hand. So you could have a bone one, they called them needles, but we had a bone one, we had wooden ones. And also from my history research, if you know, I've been doing this for a long time, all of my channel is all about looking for the origins of crochet and historical stuff to do with it. And I found that there was a potential crochet hook in the British Museum in the storage. I contacted them, they took a photo, published it, and showed, there we go, we've got a pre-dynastic crochet hook. Okay, so if the British Museum is prepared to publish something and say, well, yeah, that's okay with us, then you've got to be able to be open, because you just have to be. But yeah, so in the Industrial Revolution, that's when they start making the metal ones, so then they can produce these en masse. Which means, so thinking it on the business side of things, let's just say I want to publish a book that's to do with crochet, but you can't get the tools, so my book's not going to sell. Yeah, so in the 1800s you can have the tools, so you can sell the book, so the books will sell, but so will the crochet hook. Okay, so it's kind of a bit to do with business. Right, so but yeah, so because Lisa had also said to me as well about doing the different pages, what I've done is I'm going to demonstrate. So she does a lovely demonstration in a video where, so if you get one kind of sheet of paper, this is called a bifolium, and what you do is in the manuscripts you slot other ones inside it, which then becomes a quire. Okay, so I was like, okay, if I use one bifolium, which is, according to Lisa's research, all written by the same person, that is obviously a bonus. So, and the way that it works in the book, this is a photograph, by the way, of the real book, so it's shrunk down a little bit, but according to the scale size of it, we're going to use a crochet hook number 4, and I'll demonstrate why in a bit. But I want to show you that, so the other side, so this is page 2. So if my piece of paper that was the one sheet of paper that's going through, this side of it is number 7 according to the instructions on here. So if you go over to page number 7, which I've actually also done the crochet pattern for, which crochets a 7-sided shape, so that's a septagon or a heptagon depending how you want to say it. But in this book, if you can get that so you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but inside the actual stalk there is a crochet hook. Okay, so that's more evidence. There is some more hooks inside the book, but that's like one of my most favorite ones. So I've done that side, so that's a 7-sided shape. This is the octagon, so this is 8 sides. This is makes the granny triangle, so that's 3 sides. So, and because I've been looking for geometric shapes, I kind of thought that this was going to be a geometric shape as well, but it's not. As you know, this is actually a bag because it says so in the title of the video. And no, I'm not showing you the bag yet because I want you to have the pleasure and joy that I got when I actually was crocheting this as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to look, so the way that the method works that I was using, it's a cross grid reference. So you look at the plant, you see what you can see inside the plant. So for example, on this one, we've got a flower that's got 3 bits sticking out of it there. We've got the sepal, which has got 3 bits on it. So if you come down to the 3rd line and you pick out the 3rd word, you get a word. Yeah. On the other one, so it was one of those ones I kept looking for the actual words, and then you find them, and then you put them in, rearrange them in the right order, and make a sentence, which is how I was working out what the patterns are. So to do this particular bit here, the other clue that I'd got, that there's 8 sections of this plant, and 8 is really important with all of this, by the way. So we've got the stamen sticking out there, which is 1. We've got the flower, which is 2. The sepal, which is 3. The stalk there, which is, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Leaf is 5. This bit down here is 6. I've got a bit sticking out there, which is 7. That bit there, which is actually going up to there, I was like, is it really classed as 8, or is that actually technically classed as joining to there? But we've got a straight line of the roots, which could also be 8. And if you look at the actual words themselves, and on these lines, there's only 3 lines that actually contain 8 words. All the rest have a different amount. And on those 3 lines, they all ended with the 8 around, as I've been calling it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get I've written them down so you can actually see. So on this side here, I think I've got 19 now. So these are the symbols that's it from inside the book. Then the next row along is where I'm actually describing it in UK crochet terms, and then the next one is US crochet terms, because I've been doing both on my videos for a long time, but I know that Lisa is actually from America, so the American crochet terms would be best. Okay, so I used this as my reference to then work out what was this particular section here. So this word there, that one was it was a twist. So we've got on here with this symbol, it's either means a twist or it actually can mean a swap. You can actually do a swap. It's a bit like, if you treat it like a card game, I guess. And that's you, the joker inside it all. And because I'd got the 8, which was, I know it says to do it around, which normally means to go round and round in a circle, but for the sake that I was doing at that particular time, when I was actually doing my experiments, I'm going to share with you what I actually did. So let's move this out of the way. I've got my yarn all tangled up. I can't believe that. Okay, so the instructions for that particular thing is, so it's begin with a twist. It actually does have 2 C's, which is for the 2 chains, but it also has a circle in there, and I did take it to mean 3 chains. So I made a chain of 3, twisted it again, because this is and then it's a double crochet if you're in the US, or it's a treble crochet if you're in the UK. And then you just keep twisting it and do the 3 chains, and then you work into the top of the stitch, the last stitch that you've made. You go into there and you work your new stitch. And I just did that repetitively, because that was the first thing that I actually found, and I actually thought that this was some kind of edging to go on the other shapes that I'd actually made. But as we know now from the title of the video, you know that this is going to be a bag, and this is to let you know it's actually going to be a drawstring bag. Okay, so, and it's going to make a little wavy little pattern for you to be able to use. Okay, so I'm just going to undo that because I've already got one made for the next section. So going back to this actual pattern, I was like, well, I'd made that little bit and I was like, there's more to this than meets the eye. And so I left it alone for a bit. I had a weird moment where I woke up in the night and wrote myself a strange message. And it was about the fact that there's 6 words on one side and 2 on the other. And only 2 of these lines actually have, because this line here has got 8 words, but there's 3 on this side of the actual plant. And if you look at the main structure of your plant, we've actually got 2 things that are coming out to this side, which I thought, okay. And I thought, well, what if the whole of one of these lines is actually the whole pattern? Because the other ones, you find it all over the place. And I was like, just what if? So I started on line number 2. It did actually work. I did do number 3 and I did do this line here. They didn't. Okay. So line number 2, as it's written in the actual manuscript, I've written it down so you can actually see it here. So we've got, and I've done them as steps. So you've got, these are the actual words in order in the manuscript. So 1, 2, 3 to go to 8. Then you rearrange them, and step 1, 2 and 3 actually becomes round 1. Step 4 is actually round 2, step 5 is actually round 3, and step 6 and 7 creates round 4. And that's all we're doing to this stage in this particular video. Okay, I can see, obviously I did say it was going to take about 10 minutes, so sorry guys for those that gone to 10 minutes and I'm still rabbiting away. So we're going to begin with a twist, and we need to do a chain of 3. So we go, whoops, 1, 2, 3. And then we've got this back to front S, which means stitch. What is the stitch? The main stitch of this pattern is actually this one here, which is the, sorry, can you see that? Which is actually the half double crochet for you in the US and half treble in the UK. So my stitch is to do a half double. Where do I do the stitch? Into the beginning chain, because I've got these 2 chains there, and this symbol going this way around means to work into the beginning chain. And then we carry on with this, which is to do the chain 4. So we're going to, so we've done our chain 3. We're going to work the half double, so, or the half treble. So you yarn over, come through, and you just pull through all 3. I'm going to do a chain of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to work into that first chain to be able to do 2 half double crochet, because this symbol means to do 2 half double crochet. Okay. And then we're just going to keep doing that, and I did it 8 times because of all the clues of the 8. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, because that was one of the biggest clues that I've been finding with this research that I've done on all of this. The 8 is because it's representing the main stitch, I guess, that we use an awful lot in crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need to do 2 half double crochet into the actual circle. I know it's got really tight, but we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, work into there. So when you're crocheting, it's either done in the round or it's done from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is little clues inside the actual manuscript itself of whether you need to do it as a side to side pattern or whether it's going round and round. So I did share all sorts of different things in my first videos, but 1, 2, 3, 4, but for the sake of this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be the 6th lot of chains. I thought, why not show you something really pretty that you'd all like to do rather than, oh, here's a square, here's this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go back into that center there. And I know that I've actually done mine quite tight, to be fair, into the middle on this video, but if you do it a bit looser, it's easier. Oh, I've got squeaky yarn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what you're going to do is you're going to, in the very first half double crochet that you made, you're going to slip stitch to join just there. I know that this doesn't tell you to slip stitch, but that's what was saying. The older patterns didn't used to give you those instructions. So we should have 8 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the next round, so round 2, it does say chain 4 and then 2 half double crochet, and that little symbol there means to do a repeat, but you have to actually slip stitch into this first loop to be able to do this. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to count. 2 is going to be the half double crochet, and 2 is going to class as a chain 2. And then we need to do 2 half double crochet. That's 1, 2, and then we do a chain of 2. And then into the next one, we're going to do 2 half double, chain 2. And into the next one, and we're doing that all the way around. And I'm actually sharing, I know I'm going a bit fast as I'm crocheting today, but I'm actually showing you as it actually is made, so you can pause the video and you can crochet along if you actually want to do this and do the surprise like it was for me. So imagine I had no picture, I didn't know what I was making, and then it was just like, ooh. But this actual base, this actually fits the picture. So I'm going to show you the way that whoever actually did write the manuscript used the things that they crocheted to actually help them draw the images in the actual book. Okay, and also there's some cool things if you actually, so right, so at the very end, sorry, let's just do this. So that was where that was representing a stitch. I'm going to just do one of the half double crochets into there. We need to make sure we leave a chain of 2 for our chains, and then we're going to slip stitch into that next chain along. So then you end up with this lovely flower look with the little bits around there, and you can see it's actually creating, the sides are actually creating the actual octagon shape. So that was round 2. So round 3, this reads actually as half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, chain 2, repeat. Yep. So what I'm going to do is going to go half double crochet, chain 2, because when it's got a line like that, that often means to work into the chain 2s, into a chain space, and this one's chain 2 space. And so I've got to do half double crochet, chain 2, and then do half double crochet, chain 2, yeah, all the way around. So it's going to go half double crochet, chain 2, and half double crochet back into the same chain space, then chain 2, and then half double crochet that feels like I've gone wrong there. Hang on, let's do that again. Okay, so do half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, chain 2, and then half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet, chain 2. So we're going to get all the way around for this one, and honestly I hope that you do just crochet along as rather than going and having a peep of what you get as the finished result. So I'm not even going to show you the finished result to start off with in the second video, okay? Just to give you that little bit extra, oops, I've just undone what I've just worked, just to give you that little bit of extra suspense. I've got my chain 2 work into there. For all of my people that have been watching me to do the crochet, if you've come along to my channel for the first time because I'm actually doing something with the Voynich manuscript and you think that I'm talking a load of nonsense, right, you need to learn how to crochet, because I'm completely right, and I know I am. Okay, and I've done more than half of the symbols in the book now, so you can't dispute it. There, and then we do a chain 2, and then the very first half double crochet that we did, we're going to slip stitch in there to join, just to complete our round, even though I know that it doesn't tell me to do it. And then this still is, it still has got the octagon shape to it, kind of, but it's not really that visible. The next round, so we've got round 4, we've got here, we've got this chain 2 together piece there, we've got this, what looks like a number 9 means to do a repeat, and this is to do the twist. Okay, and then we've got chain 2 and slip stitch. This actually is because that's doing something repeatedly into the chain 2 spaces. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space, chain 2, and slip stitch back into the same space, and then slip stitch in the next one, chain 2, and do that all the way around. Okay, I'm really conscious of my time, and if my timer runs out, I'm going to be so upset because I won't be able to show you what this does on the actual book if I go too far. So should I get one? I'll get one that I've already finished. Right, so it's going to make you a 16 pointed star. Here's the one that I finished earlier. Okay, so remember, this is your tail end. If you look at the flower and see, if you actually fold your piece of work, so that's this, it makes your 16 pointed flower, look, or petal, whatever, your snowflake, anything, and then you're going to push them together like that, and it makes you the same shape as the actual flower itself that's actually in the actual book. If you then actually get the points of them, so tip it upside down, it's easier, and you actually put the point right into the little V shape there, you will see that the other point points to the actual stem at the top there, and if you keep moving it around, you'll find one of the points touches there and touches the little blobby bit on there, and it fits the actual pattern. And that's if it's done with this page for this book. This is this book where we've got the photos of it, and I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. So if we was going to scale up, yeah, for the bigger book, we'd need to use a bigger hook. Anyway, this is the end of this video. So thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for subscribing, thank you for those that's new, that's just come along to see what on earth I'm actually doing. Okay, so I'll see you in part 2 where we actually make the bag. Bye for now.